Okay, got it. Boom. All right. So good morning, everyone. My name is Brett Thompson. I'm the president, I guess, owner of Thompson Law Group here in Virginia Beach. And I've been practicing real estate law for the last 22 years. Primarily, the foundation of our practice is real estate transactions. So we do around 200 real estate closings a month. We do commercial and residential property. And over the last 2 years, well, I started to apply for my North Carolina license, and then COVID hit, and like the whole world shut down. And you have to get it done within a 9-month window, or you have to start over again. So it actually expired because I was trying to like adjust to COVID and everything like that. So it took me about 2 years actually to get my Carolina license, but I'm now a licensed attorney in North Carolina. So we can do real estate closings, and I can practice law for anything in Carolina, but we can do real estate closings for any properties located throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia or in North Carolina. And Carolina is a little different than Virginia. So Carolina, they're very there's a higher bar to entry, if you will, and it's considered an attorney only state. So for examples, only attorneys can do closings down there. The title examinations have to be reviewed and actually approved by North Carolina attorneys. And there's some nuances and differences in regards to the procedures for recording documents down there. Some clerks have different requirements, such as tax affidavits and whatnot. But I'm fully set up. I've reached out to a network of people in North Carolina. I have a real estate paralegal that does a lot of it, like does 7 different counties below the Virginia line, that will do the title searches for me. He will submit them to me, and then I will review the title notes, and then I will submit an attorney title certificate to the actual title insurance underwriter. And based on my attorney title certificate, then the title insurance company will issue their binder, and we'll be able to have an insured transaction, if you will, and issue the title insurance policies. So that's all in place. So I'm already working on my network of friends down there. I've got in order to do a real estate, in order to do a title search down there, you actually have to be at least a certified real estate paralegal, which is also different in Virginia. You don't have to have any formal education or certification to run a title in Virginia. And also there's no requirement for an attorney to issue any certificate or anything in regards to the status of the title. So there are some differences, which I kind of like, actually. It's kind of a higher standard, if you will, down in North Carolina, which I respect. As far as the pricing goes, it looks like the title insurance premiums and everything's a little lower than Virginia. But the attorney's fees are going to be a little higher just because there's more work that the attorneys have to do. They have to oversee everything, from the title search to the closing and disbursements and the whole thing. So you are going to see a little bit higher price on the attorney's fees, but I think you're going to see lower prices on the actual title insurance, the searches and binders, policies, that kind of thing. Statewide Title, I've already been in touch with them down in Carolina, so they can issue title insurance binders and policies for any property in North Carolina. And they've got a really streamlined website and whatnot. I've talked to the owner of that company down there, and basically I can turn in my attorney title certificate online to Statewide Title, and then within an hour they can send me, they can get the binder back to me. So it sounds like we can get this stuff pretty fast. So one of the hot button issues is getting the title search in on time, and making sure as soon as possible that we know about any kind of encumbrances, judgment liens, mortgage liens. I like to know sooner rather than later if there's any title defects that we need to clean up. So it sounds like they've got a pretty streamlined process down there. And then I plan on treating my North Carolina agents and brokers the same way I do up here. So if there are any contract questions, you need any help in regards to contract language, you've got questions about the provisions in the contracts, I'm happy to assist in that realm. You know, the agents that use our firm, they've got my cell phone number. I have agents call me on Sundays asking picker questions and whatnot. So I'm happy to provide the same level of service for North Carolina. So I'm excited. I'm learning. I've been asking a lot of questions. I've been talking with the clerk's offices down there and the departments of registry of deeds and whatnot. So I'm starting to get familiarized and starting to, you know, kind of figure out who's who and stuff down there. So I'm looking to have to really ramp it up in 2023 and start doing some real volume in Carolina. And I'm on my end, I'm just trying to also learn as much as I can. I've signed up for CLEs and I'm taking different classes and whatnot, which are specific for North Carolina real estate closings. So I'll be ready to rock and roll.
That's actually really awesome. Just a question for my own personal benefit. Would you say, like, as you're trying to like network down there, that everybody's been pretty welcoming towards you? Because, you know, we kind of get 50-50 as far as agents go. We either get accepted or we get, you know, snubbed.
So far, so good for me. Now I'm just going to speak from my experience. It's real small town down there. All right. I've already gotten some calls from attorneys down there, and they want to know if I'm a licensed attorney because they heard that I was going to start doing closings, and so they wanted to know if I was on the team or not. As far as am I a licensed North Carolina attorney? Because I guess if I wasn't, they were calling, you know, to shut me down or something. But I let them know that I am duly licensed in Carolina, and I am working with the title examiners that they actually know and respect as well. The particular real estate paralegal I'm working with down there has been doing title searches in the 7 counties down there for the last 20 years. So he knows all the attorneys down there. So he's been a real good source, you know, to tell me about the different law firms and what's it like. And, you know, so far I haven't had any pushback. I've been trying to be very friendly and respectful to the attorneys that I've spoken with down in Carolina. You know, I'm not trying to step on any toes. But at the same time, you know, I want to provide a high level of service to our agents here in Hampton Roads that are also, you know, duly licensed down in Carolina. And, you know, I understand that they do things differently down there, but I think the agents here in Hampton Roads are accustomed to a high level of service and, you know, responsiveness and whatnot. And I have heard that things may be a little slower down there. And so that's below my standard. All right. You know, our goal here is to create raving fans and to have a really open line of communication in a timely manner. So my worst nightmare is having real estate agents call me saying, hey, I don't know what's going on with my file. My clients haven't heard from you all. You know, that's our worst case scenario. So we never want to have that phone call. So, but as far as my dealings with Carolina thus far, I haven't had any unpleasantries, but
Right.
you know, we're just getting started.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely glad to hear it, because it is definitely small town vibes down there. Just to kind of talk about the title. So in North Carolina with their purchase agreement, basically they have a due diligence period where they want everything to be done within that due diligence period. Otherwise, there's no exit clause for your client at that point without being in default. Do y'all plan on, like, I guess what I'm asking is, like, how do you guys plan on pulling title? Just so that we could, because most of the time the due diligence period typically ends about 3 days to a week prior to closing. So like
Right.
it's an extensive amount of time, but at the same time, I'd hate, like, the issue that I ran into. We were 2 weeks away from the technical close date and they hadn't even done anything with the file, and we ran into a problem. So it was one of those things where the proactiveness was not in place.
Well, if there's any delay on the title, that would be my fault. Speaking with the real estate paralegals down there that are actually doing the title searches, they said they can turn them around within 3 to 5 business days. Okay. So then once the title comes into me, it's my responsibility to then review the title and to create the attorney title certificate and then turn it into the underwriter. So as long as I do that, as long as I do my job in a timely manner, we're not going to be pressed, up against the wall for, for time things like that. And, the Carolina contracts are really similar to commercial contracts that I deal with, because we do a lot of commercial property as well. And for commercial properties, there's just an all-encompassing due diligence period, and you can do all your inspections and everything within a certain date, but that's it. After that date, boom, we're locked in. And if there's a failure to close on either side, that's a breach. So I get it. I don't anticipate that there would be any hardships or where we would have to extend the due diligence period or extend the closing date based on the title part. Simply because that is directly related to me. So if the title binder isn't in, it's because I haven't done the title certificate. So if you called me, I couldn't say, well, I'm just waiting on this and that, because the attorney actually has to do it. And that's the thing. So I'm going to make it a priority, as soon as the title comes in from the real estate paralegal in Carolina, I'm going to hot potato it and just get it done so we can see, if there's any problems that we need to address.
That's awesome. Just to kind of like piggyback on that, Lucy asked a question too, which kind of like she's reading my brain at the moment. But one of the issues that we've ran into is attorneys are supposed to be drafting all amendments and addendums down there in North Carolina. The purchase agreement currently does not have a built-in clause if the appraisal value comes in less. There is a VA and FHA amendment that comes with those loan types, but like if it was like a conventional buyer or anything along those lines, or a cash buyer that was getting an appraisal, we would need an amendment or an addendum at that point to basically state, like, to offer the buyer an opportunity for negotiations on price. Otherwise, from my understanding, what we're understanding with the contract, otherwise they're stuck paying that that price value regardless of the appraised value.
Yeah, so I can certainly, if I'm representing the buyer, of course, the more contingencies we can build into the contract, the better. The more opportunities that the buyer can terminate if they find something that they don't like. So I'm happy to, I'm happy to draft some addendums that you can incorporate with conventional finance or any kind of financing that would allow the buyer to unilaterally terminate in the event the appraisal came in under the agreed upon purchase price. Now, ideally, the appraisal would come in during the due diligence period, and we would know, during the due diligence period, whether the appraisal came in low or not. And during the due diligence period, we could reach out at that time and say, hey, this is the problem we've got. I could pull the trigger on my due diligence and get out, but hey, I want to negotiate with you. But, if the appraisal is slow on getting in and it comes in after the due diligence period, that's where we would run into a problem. So if we want that contingency to extend past the due diligence period, we certainly would want to do an addendum specifically saying that if it comes in low, we can negotiate or the buyer can terminate.
Now, as far as the cost of those, will there be like a flat rate for your services? Or, because obviously if you're writing a lot of amendments and addendums, I would expect there to be a little bit more cost there. Is there like a price point that you thought about, or is there a way that you can draft us, like, I don't want to say a generic addendum, but a generic addendum for that specific thing? Because I know a lot of us would be utilizing it.
I was planning on just doing some forms that would be commonly used forms. You all could just plug it in. I would use it in a form like that you would plug in. So I'm trying to take care of my agents, and so common hot button issues, I'm planning on having my own folder of forms that we can use for that. And if this is going to come up every time on a purchase, because of the way the North Carolina forms are drafted, so it's not a big deal. I could just use the form.
Well, that's definitely going to make a lot of people happy. Because one thing that we had discussed before, that's Thomasina. If y'all hear any jingling in the background, it's literally Thomasina's sweater, just so y'all know.
Very nice. Very nice.
She's with the spirit today.
I love it.
But one of the things that we had discussed when we had met previously was like the cost efficiency and stuff like that, because the attorneys down there literally like charge for anything and everything. And I'm not saying that their time is not valuable, but will you have like a pricing sheet that's like kind of
No,
vague a little bit so that we would be able to provide it for our clients so that they have a good estimate on what they can expect their closing costs to be?
yes, so I'm gonna create a published fee sheet, all right? But in my mind, the relationship, all right, this is how I do business. My relationship with the agents is paramount, like long-term relationships. So you know, if I'm working with somebody and they're sending me all their North Carolina closings, I'm not going to nickel and dime their clients and hit them every time I got to answer a question or draft an amendment. I mean, I don't do that now. I mean, I draft amendments and different clauses now, and because I have a good working relationship with the agents, like I don't nickel and dime them. They just pay whatever the published closing fees are, because I know I have a good relationship with that person. I know they're coming back, and so if I can provide a high level of service and not nickel and dime clients, I have found, in the long run, it works out well for me. So.
Sorry, I was double checking the questions in the back. Thomasina was asking how you wanted us to go about writing addendums, but I believe we decided that you were going to draft some ones that were going to be commonly used.
So I can use, so I can draft some forms for you, and then if there's any questions along the way, you want me to take a look at it before it's signed, I'm happy to do that for sure. I'm happy to help any legal questions whatsoever, lean on me for that. But we could do a simple cookie cutter form with language pertaining to the appraisal. And, I'm not going to charge $150 every time you need it. You follow me? That just sounds silly to me. So, and you got to remember too, like we're a high volume closing law firm. It's not like, I mean, it seems like the guys down there in Carolina, they're kind of like, they do some closings, they do some, they go to court on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and like, it's not, they don't have a high volume, like machine, you follow me? So they may charge like they're representing somebody on a litigation matter and just keep hitting you anytime they pick up your file, they turn the clock on. And that's just not my business model. My business model is we're going to do a high volume of real estate transactions. We've got a flat fee. With that flat fee comes with, you get to talk to me. You get to talk to my associates. If we need some forms, we'll do some forms. So.
That is awesome. One question that I can think of right now, I know that like you just got your license there, but is there anything that you would say that you've noticed that is drastically different from how VA normally operates that you would want to make us aware of so that we can be on high alert, I guess?
I mean, it really wouldn't affect you as much as like I've learned just through my research and whatnot that the way certain counties charge, certain counties require a affidavit of the fair market value. Like you have to actually record an affidavit saying that this is the purchase price and this is the tax assessed value of the property. And so you actually have to record an affidavit of tax value, basically, which is not a requirement in Virginia. And then down in Carolina, you've got cities and you got counties, and so recording taxes, there may be a city and a county recording tax as opposed to just a city recording tax. So, but that's all on our end as far as, and that would be reflected on the settlement statement. But other than that, it's still basic contract law pertaining to you all as on agents on your end. And so if you need any help in regards to interpretation of language on the contracts, call me. I mean, like I said, I got agents call me on Sundays asking picker questions and stuff like that. So,
well, I'm going to definitely try to respect the weekends because I mean, I try to always respect everybody's business hours, but any kind of general understanding of the contracts, we're always going to be welcome to it. I know Thomasina would like you to like spend 15 minutes the second Tuesday of every month on our business meeting. It's from like 10 to 11, and you know, she likes to have our current Jones Walker and like they usually speak about things. So just to kind of share like updated information or little pieces of information that you've uncovered and stuff, because
For sure.
like I said before, North Carolina, we don't really have a whole lot of pinpoint guidance. Like we're all trying to scramble and figure things out.
So we could either do this kind of format, or we could do like a lunch and learn or something, and I could just go over the contract and addendum documents that you all use it for Carolina. Also, we have my law firm has a YouTube channel, and I release these Teaching Tuesday videos. So we probably have 50 different videos that deals with every different part of the RAIN contract. And also we go into just easements and surveys and the VA escape clause. And so if you get bored one night, grab a glass of wine or something, you can check out the Thompson Law Group YouTube page. And I address about 50 different subjects that would be relative to real estate agents.
If you could, Brett, go ahead and put that YouTube channel in the chat. We do have a question. It's Chrissy. She says she's having trouble phrasing this question. North Carolina requires attorneys to write the addendum. Would we have to request the form from the attorney every time to stay in compliance? So basically, if you were to make us like the generic addendums, would we need to like keep you informed every time before we actually fill it out and have our clients sign it to stay in compliance?
Well, it would be drafted by me, and I'm a Carolina licensed attorney. If there would be any changes to the document whatsoever, you would need to run that by me. All right. But if you're not making any modifications whatsoever to the document that I've drafted, the liability is on me as the real estate attorney in Carolina for that language. So as long as you don't change the language that I give you, you can keep using it.
Cool. So it could just be basically we plug in our client's name, but if we need to change any verbiage or anything like that, we need to run it by you first, correct?
Can you
Yes,
lock
ma'am.
it just so that it doesn't? Because I'm afraid, you know how agents are. Sorry, agents, but you know how agents are.
I want to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Lock
we
it.
want it. Yeah, I can figure out how to lock it. I'll ask one of the younger kids here that know how to do that.
I didn't know it was a thing, so
Yeah.
We can upload it in our brokerment and then just only make it available for them to send for signatures. We can do
I
that.
like that.
Lock
I
it.
like that. Yeah, as long as like I said, as long as the pre-printed language on the form isn't changed.
Yeah. Yeah, that way I'll do that. I'll do it that way, Brett. That way it'll just be in there. It'll be locked. We won't have to worry about it.
Brett is willing to do the team meeting as well as lunch and learns if we want to do that in contract training.
Wow. Look at you.
He's
I'm
a
kind
champ.
of a big deal. All right.
Yeah, you're kind of a big deal. I'll tell you, the only other person that I like better than you guys or the same is Jones Walker and Lake. You guys and Jones Walker and Lake got it going on for real.
I love Susan Walker. I mean, I
Yeah.
think she's just a good person. I mean,
She really is.
I like her and I respect her a lot. So
Yeah, she likes you a lot too. When we were talking about who to get, she actually recommended you, just so you know.
oh, that's great. All right. I'm going to put in the chat box the link to our law firm YouTube page.
Yes, amazing. Yes, thank you.
And then also I'll just send you our website as well.
Page have it segregated for North Carolina versus.
And then we just launched recently.
I don't think so.
I just want to let you know about this. We have partnered up with an app called BankShot. And basically, it's an electronic way to submit the earnest money deposits. So
Oh, wow.
a person can either just take a picture of their check, or they can just plug in their account number and their routing number, and it'll automatically zap it from their bank account to our real estate trust account. And we have our own designated like registration number that they would plug in. So basically, you download the app from the Google Play or the Apple App Store, and we're already built into that app. And you just plug in the number, and then Thompson Law Group information comes up, and you can electronically tender the earnest money deposit if that's something that you all or your agents would want to do.
Absolutely. Does anybody else have any questions for Brett before we let him go to enjoy the rest of his day?
Brett, on the YouTube page, is it segregated for North Carolina versus Virginia?
I'm going to start a particular file just for Carolina. Right now, I've got 50 videos on Virginia, but this year, 2023, we're going to start loading Carolina specific content.
Awesome.
Now, in the content that I have now, it's either specific to the RAIN contract, or it addresses general real estate law, all right, which would be applicable pretty much anywhere.
Okay.
And then I need a picture for whenever we do the team meeting, we usually put your picture up there for you to talk, you know.
I have a really cool picture from like 10 years ago that I was looking really good.
Okay, that's cool. Are you showing your muscles?
Yeah, so
And that's it. That's the one. That's the
I'm
one.
I'm like glistening in the sun, and
Perfect.
the pecs are looking good, so I'll send that one.
Yeah, sun's out, guns out. All right,
Yes,
that's about it. And then I'll have Holly invite you, so it's on your calendar for the second Tuesday of every month. And what we'll do is I'll let Susan Walker them know that you'll be on there too, because sometimes Susan will just shout out, be like, hey, because she'll be like, hey, what do you think, Brett? And bring you into, but she takes the first like 20-30 minutes. I'm going to give you the next 15, and then we'll continue on from there. I think those are the most important things, is to have these two attorneys there
Right.
talking, like, more than anything. So,
Right.
and you are exclusively our only attorney for North Carolina, just so you know.
Yes.
Oh, well, just so you know, I love you.
I love you too. And you're only one of 2 attorneys for Virginia. So I don't have exclusivity there, but it's just you and Susan Walker. And then you do have exclusivity in North Carolina.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Brett. Guys, hopefully I'll see y'all in a little bit at our Christmas party. Brett, you're more than welcome to hobble on over here if you can get your wife to give you a ride.
You can Uber. You can Uber. Do
You can
extra
Uber
large.
on over here.
Yeah, I'm testing my wife's patience, y'all. So
Oh my gosh. Tell her, do not pray for patience. That's what my grandmother used to tell me. The worst thing you could ever do is pray for patience, because the Lord will test you.
Yeah.
well, we got some testing going on for sure. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
All right, you too. Take care.
All right.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.